Hello, mysterious person behind the screen, and welcome back to another audio commentary with myself and Isaac.
Hello there, once again.
And this time for Doctor Who's 59th birthday, we are tackling the 25th anniversary season opener, Remembrance of the Daleks. Very acclaimed, very highly regarded. Technically not the official 25th anniversary special, but I mean, it basically is, isn't it? It's yeah.
It is in my eyes.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely is in my eyes as well. But yes, without further ado, Isaac, if you want to do the honours.
Yeah, if you'd like to sync this up with your own copy of Remembrance of the Daleks on DVD, go to Play All and press play in 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh yeah, I always forget we've got a pre-title sequence.
That's true. This was only the third time they'd ever done it. They'd done it on Time and the Rani and Castrovalva.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first time they don't show Regeneration.
That's very true. Yeah. All right, I guess would you count the Five Doctors because of the bit with Hartnell at the start?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the spaceship hovering over Earth. That is great.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
And it's like it sets the scale immediately for the story.
It is, yeah, because this is one of the best Doctor Who stories probably ever made, I'd say. And if anyone wants to get into classic Who, this is probably your first port of call. Despite callbacks to the past, I would say start with this story.
No, 100%. It's like it's so good as an introductory story for classic Doctor Who. It was one of my first ones. For one of the first DVDs I bought. And at one time, I would have said this is my favourite story ever.
Oh, really?
And maybe that's still true. I don't know. Doing my marathon that I've been doing for the last couple of years, it's been one of those things where I've changed my opinion on a lot of stories and a lot of eras. So who knows if that's going to still be the case once that's finished. But this is absolutely top 10 for me of all time.
Yeah.
I do love it.
Well, to be that contrarian, it isn't my favourite McCoy story. That's actually Greatest Show, but this is number 2. It's very close.
Oh yeah, Greatest Show is fantastic as well. It's neck and neck between those two. I think it is the best of his era. I think both are fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And this is only Ace's second story, but she feels so settled.
No, yeah, 100%. It's funny because this is obviously the opener for season 25. We're coming off of her introduction at the end of season 24. But like you say, it's really her first story as a full-time companion. But like you say, she feels completely settled in. There's no kind of there's no kind of settling in with their chemistry. That they're just perfect together straight away, and it's great to see. Like, it feels like they've spent time together as well in between seasons.
Plus also, it's appropriate to do this story as Ace had recently come back in Power of the Doctor.
Yeah, I was going to say it's weird kind of watching Ace because I've not seen Ace since the Power of the Doctor aired, so it's cool seeing seeing
One of my favourite moments was when she said to the Master, "Last time I saw you, you were half cat," and he doesn't have a response to that. He just looks at himself like, "Oh yeah, I was. That was a bad day."
Yeah, it's kind of like, actually, yeah, no, fair enough, you got a point there.
Now, interestingly enough, there is... have you ever read the Target storybook?
I haven't, no.
Well, the 7th Doctor story for that takes place during this adventure. It's actually in between scenes where, at the start of part 2, where the Doctor destroys the Imperial Dalek, goes off on his own, then it's night time and he goes to the cafe. It's actually in between those scenes. The Doctor, I'm not making this up, tracks down a Dalek sliver that I think belongs... It's either... I can't remember which faction it's for. It's either for the Imperials or the Renegades. But yeah, he captures a sliver and sends it on its way. And the last line is, line is, the Daleks still needed to be defeated, but first the Doctor needed a cup of tea. And it leads into the cafe scene.
Oh my god. That's really cool, actually. Like, give it, because this story does take place, like, you feel like there is downtime for the characters in between all the action, so I guess it makes sense. But I'm kind of thinking, what other Doctor Who stories would you have, like, adventures during the events of? Like, it's a cool concept.
Well, to be honest, I think all of those stories, they're in the target story, but they all take place within Doctor Who stories. Like, for example, the first Doctor story, I think, takes place when Vicky's inside the Dalek time machine in the chase.
Oh, right.
And also, the fifth Doctor story, that's when Adric and Nyssa are in the TARDIS in the Visitation and they're working out how to fly it.
Oh, bloody hell. That's really cool. I quite like that. It's a cool concept.
And also the story with the fourth Doctor and Romana, it's what happened to them when they were trapped in the Five Doctors.
I mean, to be fair, there is good there's good material to be mined from that. Stuck in wibbly wobbly land.
I do wonder, is this school where they filmed Grange Hill?
Do you know what? I was thinking the same thing. It's strikingly similar as well. Have you ever dived into the Countermeasures expanded media stuff?
No, I haven't. No,
I haven't either. But I've always kind of been interested in it because they're kind of a precursor almost to the Paternoster Gang in a way. It's like a group of allies that the Doctor has. It's quite cool, and it's a nice kind of take off from the unit concept as well. I quite like them.
Yeah, this story's been added to unit history as to say this was one of the stories, along with the Weather Sphere, that contributed to the creation of unit to tackle alien life coming to Earth.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. And then Chibnall screwed it up even more by adding the war machines.
Yeah. I feel like Survivors of the Flux is very it's sort of like, I get what you're doing, but you're muddying the waters of an already complicated fictional history. Misspelling of Foreman there on the door.
And also the scrapyard here, it's now quadrupled in size since An Unearthly Child. In that story, you can clearly tell it's just a studio set.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, Attack of the Cybermen, to its credit, it does look like a small scrapyard. It does look like the scrapyard from An Unearthly Child, but here it's just really big.
It's massive, yeah. I guess they've been having a clear out, and it's just they've got so much more space.
Yeah. Plus, I have done a review of this story back in the... it was actually a year and a half ago when I reviewed this story on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, go check that one out, everybody. Very, very good stuff.
Yeah.
This really wastes no time getting going as well. Like, it's so pacey.
Exactly, yeah. It's such a breezy watch.
We're not even 10 minutes into the episode, and we're already about to get into the big action scene, which is kind of why, again, I'd recommend it for people who have only seen the new series, because it's very new series-like in its pacing. And of course, it's the same length as a two-parter of the new series. So I think anyone who has only seen the new series wants to get into the classic series, this is probably the most similar to a new series story. So it's one I always go...
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so it's one I always kind of point towards.
I mean, it's no surprise they overspent the budget on this one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's so funny, like it's obviously Silver Nemesis is the proper, like, official 25th anniversary special, but it's so clear that this is the one that it has all the love put into it.
Yeah, that's the problem with Silver Nemesis, is that it's just three random factions that are fighting over Time Lord technology, and the sad thing is they don't really complement each other. Whereas here, the 60s setting does complement the Daleks' presence because of the how white supremacist groups were depressingly on the rise. And the Daleks basically represent racial hatred. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The way that's used as a backdrop in this is marvelous. It's such a good use of the setting, and the Daleks as villains.
Yeah. Well, this was actually my first McCoy story that I watched.
Same. Yeah.
This is a great stunt here.
Yeah, it's really well done.
Mm-hmm.
It's you can see the wire, but it's fine. Like you would, it still looks great.
Mm. Yes, I don't know if you've ever listened to it, but I'm not a big fan of the 5.1 surround sound mix they've done for the DVD because everything sounds just too quiet.
Oh, I've not actually listened to it.
I haven't. To be honest, I found it underwhelming because the explosions sound like basically bubble wrap popping. Hopefully they can improve it when this story eventually comes to Blu-ray.
I think so, yeah, because the 5.1 mixes that have been carried over from the DVDs onto the Blu-rays have been beefed up a little bit just because of the Blu-ray format and having less compression. So hopefully that's the case for this.
Mm.
Which do you think this will get some updated effects as well?
No, I think it's going to go to Silver Nemesis.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
I reckon Silver Nemesis, because these stories' effects for me are fine.
Yes, yeah.
Whereas, like for example, you actually see lasers come out, whereas with the Cybermen, it's just popping.
Yeah,
little popping red flames. And I do hope that the 60th is next year, and I have said I think it would be very appropriate to have this season come out for the 60th.
Oh, it absolutely would. It'd be nice if we got because season 20's been on the cards for a long time. So I would bet that's next year because it's an anniversary season as well. I think it'd be great to have this one, season 25, season 20,
season 1.
Yeah,
I'd love for it.
I was going to say.
But what do you do with Marco Polo?
That's the thing. Like, do you hold, because that one is a giant kind of monolith of missing episodes. I kind of, with the Crusade, I think it makes a bit more sense for them to just do the telesnaps because it's only 2 episodes and it's not like it's not like one of those stories that's like legendary. Whereas Marco Polo, I don't know. I feel like. Yeah, we'll see how that one goes. I mean, it's been rumoured for about 10 years now that the BBC have actually got it and are holding on to it for some reason. That's been like a persistent rumour for like 10 years, so who knows.
That's true, yeah.
But it would be nice, though. It would be nice. The outtakes from this story are very funny as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think Simon Gilmore's gun kept jamming. He's just like, fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's it. So,
well, last time you met the Daleks Doctor, you were a 6-foot, curly-haired blonde man wearing a coat of many colours, so probably not.
Very true, very true. So what side do you fall on, Imperial or Renegade?
Probably Imperial because I prefer their colour scheme.
Same here. I'm an Imperial guy. I like the white and gold are my favourite colours for Daleks. They're so cool. So
yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to. I'm going to take it next year because the B&M sets I think they're finally going to be entering the 80s, which is the Daleks I want more of.
Yeah, same. I tell you, the B&M sets have been really interesting recently because I'm really running out of room for the figures. Like it's
Yeah.
getting to be an issue now, so I've sort of had to pick and choose where I buy. But I will definitely buy the Remembrance set if and when they do that.
Hmm. I've got an Imperial Dalek from Remembrance, but
Nice.
yeah, I really want like a Supreme from Remembrance
Yeah, yeah.
and the Renegade as well. I mean, I'd love to see a glass Dalek figure from Revelation because I think that'd
Same.
be a cool thing. They've done the see-through Dalek from Planet of the Daleks, so surely they can do.
I was just gonna say they've done that. Like, surely it can't be that much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If Ace is 16, she can't be driving a car.
I was thinking this. Yeah, it's like, hang on a minute. I know this whole bit is a bit controversial for some fans. I've seen people really dislike that bit where they kind of switch places, but I don't know, it's funny. It's fun. And
Yeah,
we're really...
the
Yo, yeah, sorry, go on.
yeah, I was going to say that it reminds you that there's something beneath the metal, which is what I really like about the 80s Daleks. They always remind you that there's something beneath it.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. And of course, this is the concluding chapter in the Dalek Civil War trilogy.
It is, yeah. Mhm.
Which I was always surprised they never did a box set of when they were on DVD. I was always shocked that they never packaged those three up as a set.
I mean, I'm surprised they never put Resurrection of the Daleks and Attack of the Cybermen together and call it Lytton Tales.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like
Ah,
Earth Story, where it's just the only link is that they take place on Earth very loosely.
I mean, I've said before, but there was going to be a box set called Solar System, and it would have had the Ambassadors of Death and the Sun Makers in it.
I like the tenuous links there.
Michael Sherd as the headmaster.
Yes, of course, making one of his many appearances in the show.
Yeah, well, at this point, he was playing the deputy head teacher in Grange Hill.
Yeah, which I wonder if that's why he was cast, maybe, because it was a
I
bit
think
like,
that's why,
yeah, you can do this easily.
I mean, that's why, yeah, because though I only got up to the end of Series 7 on Grange Hill, so that was just before he joined.
Right, yeah. I've only seen bits and pieces of it, mostly from my dad when I was a kid.
Mm. Yeah, Ben Aranovich, was this like his first or second script he had ever written?
Oh god, yeah, and you could not tell. It's such a well-written
Yeah,
story.
exactly.
It's so
Yeah, and he
good.
was only 23.
Yeah.
I wonder, is this has the first Doctor already kidnapped Ian and Barbara at this point by the time they come back here?
I've always wondered that, yeah. Like, what's the time frame?
I mean, it might be recent because Ace has picked up Susan's French Revolution book.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that they've buggered off by this point. But like you say, the book's there, so it's, yeah.
And yeah, the locals seem to know who the Doctor is because they say, I thought you said the Doctor was an old guy with white hair.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Which is, well, I've always found that a little bit strange because it's very heavily implied in Unearthly Child that, like, he's really trying to keep a low profile and...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's been joked about Ian in that companion circle from The Power of the Doctor. So, who else was kidnapped by the Doctor? I'm here to talk about my horrible experience of being kidnapped.
Yeah. Companions Anonymous.
Yeah. I think it would have been cool had they said, "Oh, we've got an intergalactic transmission from the planet wherever the Savages takes place on. Hello,
Yeah.
King Stephen here."
Yeah, I didn't really expect Stephen to be in it, given that
Yeah, neither did I.
Peter Purvis is vocally not really a fan of the Chibnall's work, so
No, he's not. No, but oh well.
yeah, I didn't expect him to be in it, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is pretty clever how it does the Dalek battle computer's there to trick you into thinking it's Davros.
Yeah.
And also, Terry Malloy was supposed to voice the battle computer, but his schedule was extremely tight, and I think he filmed all of his Davros scenes in an afternoon because he was busy doing something else.
Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't know that. That's quite cool.
Yeah, because when I went to Aldbourne, he talked about it and said, I enjoyed doing Remembrance. It was good to come back one more time. My only regret about it is that I didn't get a face-to-face scene with the Doctor.
Yeah, that's true.
It was only via a TV screen.
Yeah. I've always liked the designs of the machinery here. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's very Dalek-y.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
That's an idea for a figure. The Rainbow Dalek.
Yeah. I mean, given the way character options have been going recently, it wouldn't surprise me. They're weird. They're very strange. Here's the 10th Doctor without his jacket, who never appeared on TV, just in this one random comic cover.
Here's free random 8th Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, with B&M, it's only the Dalek figures I'm really interested in.
Yeah, for me, it's figures that basically characters that I don't have, essentially. So it just to fill out that kind of those eras, specifically classic ones. But yeah, like I'm probably not gonna get that 9th Doctor set. That's because I've already got 9th Doctor and Rose and that very strange Rose figure.
This cliffhanger is one of the best in the show's history. It's brilliant.
Oh, yeah. 100%. It's so good.
2005. We were the first to make Daleks fly. 1988. Hold my beer.
Yeah, there you go.
I reckon people do credit 2005 more because, well, probably more people were watching. Yeah,
I was going to say, because I was talking to Gav about this on the podcast, the Polarity podcast. Listen now, and we were kind of talking about this, and it's like, yeah, it's like general public at this point in the show's history weren't really in tune with what the show was doing. They're likely not going to remember a cliffhanger from this time, but yeah.
Yeah, season 25. It is the most watched of the McCoy era because they range from like the figures range from 5 to 6 million, but by season 26 they just sadly plummet and don't really go above 5, just stay around the 4 million range.
Yeah. It doesn't really surprise me for this season because it's an anniversary year and those always get a bit more kind of publicity and hype around them, but yeah, it's that
Michael Grade interview. So you put it up against Coronation Street. What a good idea.
Yeah, that Michael Grade interview was like, yeah, it was very, very, very strange interview, but very revealing.
Yeah, because he seemed to be a bit unaware that Doctor Who did carry on just for a few more years
That was what was
after he
weird
started
about
to
it.
Yeah.
That was what was weird. Like it was like no, it did carry on. He was like, did it? No, it didn't. He's like, no, it definitely did. It definitely did. We've got the box sets here.
Yeah.
Is from is it the Behind the Sofas for season 24, I think, where Sophie
Yeah.
Alger goes, I wasn't really aware Doctor Who was still on, and Sylve just goes,
Oh, right.
neither did half the nation.
That's true, yeah, because it's against Coronation Street.
Yeah.
And of course, it's the first story to impart the Cartmel master plan by implying that the Doctor was there at the creation of the Hand of Omega.
Yes, it's
And
kind of
there
this
is
is the
that
start of
deleted
all that.
scene about him. There is that deleted scene of him saying, "I'm far more than just another Time Lord."
Yes, yeah. Which everyone always forgets that it isn't, that it's a deleted scene,
Mm.
myself included.
Well, I reckon. I know every McCoy story, apart from Survival, been given an extended version. So I reckon season 25 will get that treatment. Hopefully.
I was going to say I reckon this will get one. It'd be great because that'll be fun because this is a story I know very, very well. Like I've seen it so many times. It'd be cool to watch it in a new way.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of really witty dialogue in this as well, like the whole stomachache school dinners thing.
Yeah,
It's really it's so well written.
It's only their second. Yeah, it's only their second story, and already their chemistry is brilliant.
Oh, it's off the charts. It works so much better than it did with Mal.
Mm. In the original script, it was going to be the Doctor who would fire the rocket against the Dalek, but
Yeah.
Sylvester McCoy argued, no, my Doctor wouldn't do that.
Yeah, and I like
And,
that.
yeah.
I like that a lot. It fits. There's one me and my friend in school, we used to laugh at the one Dalek voice. It's coming up later. I think it's a minute actually. It sounds so full of rage that it can't quite get its words out. And so it's just like, you will be exterminated. It's just the way he says. We always used to laugh at this one Dalek in particular.
Well, I think that Dalek voice is Brian Miller, who is Elizabeth Sladen's husband.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There it is.
Yeah, that's it.
It's even left a scorch mark on the wall.
Yeah, I really like the kind of set design in this and the way it kind of.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is studio or location, because now they're shooting on video, you can't really tell sometimes.
Yeah, I was gonna say now that the whole thing's on video, it's a bit like, which I guess there's part. I guess one of the reasons, aside from the cost cutting stuff, that this is one of the reasons why it works, because you're minimizing that jarring cut between the two formats.
It's great when Ncuti Gatwa was announced as the new Doctor, Sylvester McCoy texted Paul McGann and said, Scots 4, Scouts 2. That's brilliant.
I love it. I love that video that he sent to Ncuti as well. The it was so nice. I always like it when I see like doctors congratulating new ones, and
Yeah, Colin Baker's even said Jodie's been my favourite Doctor.
well, didn't he call her the boss when he was on set with her?
I think so. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Which is really cool. I like that.
hmm Yeah, it's pretty much this bit here to bury the past, and then
Yeah.
so in between those scenes, the Doctor has gone around the streets of Shoreditch and battled a Slither.
But you know what? I like that a lot. It's very it's quirky. It's one of those things that only Doctor Who could do it.
Well, yeah, and it does make sense because it was still daytime when they were at the school, and now it's nighttime all of a sudden.
Yeah, I was gonna say it fits, doesn't it?
hmm Yeah, because he says, of course it'll be twins. So
Yeah.
did the first Doctor get around a bit? Did he get to know people whilst he was on Earth?
Yeah.
And this scene is great because it's quite similar to the "Do I have the right" scene. Like the Doctor knows what he has to do to defeat the Daleks because he's got the resources at the hand of Omega. But will it create even worse ripples than it has already?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And you could argue it does because it kind of ticks off the time warp.
Yeah. And of course, it's the guy from Fresh Prince, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
But this is a great scene, though. It's not because it's nice that the story has time to slow down because it's so pacey. It's nice that it has the time to slow down and give you quiet scenes like this.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I don't think since Power of the Daleks the Daleks have had like there's a different viewpoint from each of the characters, like the supporting cast that you get with them. For the Doctor, there is greatest enemy, but for the white supremacist group, they're kind of allies in a sick way.
Yeah.
And also for the military, of course, they're an obstacle to overcome and defend the Earth from.
And of course, we get William Thomas here as the
Yes.
yes,
Who he became the first actor to appear in the new series from Classic Who.
yeah. He's in Boomtown,
And
isn't
also
he?
he's Gwen's dad in Torchwood.
He is, yeah. So it's he's made his mark on the Doctor Who universe, I guess. But he's in loads of things. He's in loads of like comedies, and there's a lot of Welsh stuff, obviously. But yeah, he's all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I think in a minute the floating coffin casket thing. It's probably one of the few effects that does look quite bad in this.
Yeah.
Because the rest of them, like you said, they hold up very well for the time.
Mm-hmm. Also, the Hand of Omega. Did the Doctor take it with? Did the first Doctor take it with him when he left Gallifrey?
I think that's the implication.
Yeah.
But you don't see that in Name of the Doctor when he's rushing him and Susan into a TARDIS.
Maybe he'd already packed it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then with the Doctor, those Time Lord technicians should have been like, oh look, there shouldn't have been, oh look, he's stealing a TARDIS, or
Yeah.
it should have been holy shit, someone's taken the hand of Omega. It'd be like if someone stole a nuclear weapon and no one would care.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, someone's stolen a nuclear weapon and a car, and all they care about is the car.
Yeah. Oh, he's taken a Vauxhall, that won't get him far.
Yeah. Yeah, the effect of it, like turning around and following out the door, is pretty alright. But it's when it goes past the camera in a minute. Yeah, I guess it's not.
Yeah, that looks a bit dodgy.
I guess
Very
it's not.
pixelated.
Yeah, that's it. It's not as bad as I thought it was, to be fair. Actually, seeing it again, but it's yeah.
And yeah, this is John Leeson doing the voice.
It is, yes, yeah.
I do like this voice he does for the battle computer, but when he voices some of the Daleks, they just sound a bit brummy. Like, Richard,
Yeah, I agree.
one planet sparrow about to vaporate. And this is Peter Halliday as well.
Yes, it is. It's bloody Packer, isn't it? Yeah.
And also the voice of the Cybermen in The Invasion.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit silly of the Doctor to bury it and put a gravestone on it that's basically the same symbol as his calling card.
Yeah,
He's
it's
kind of
weird.
advertising it.
Yeah.
Also, what's interesting here is that when the headmaster is interrogating Mike, on the 5.1 soundtrack, they put back in the Daleks giving him instructions.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so here they'll say he's an agent of the renegade Daleks, apprehend and interrogate.
Oh, that's kind of...
And the reason he says no later is because the Daleks say alert, security compromised, terminate agents, and he's like, no!
I quite like
Yeah.
that, actually. I like. There's something to be said for minimalism and keeping it, a mystery. But I actually quite like hearing the.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. The Daleks say alert, security compromised, terminate agent.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never listened to the 5.1 mix on this. I should give it a look one day.
Should also talk about Dursley McClendon. If you've seen It's a Sin, Richie's character when he's in that fictional Doctor Who episode,
Yeah.
his character is called Trooper McClendon, which is named after Dursley McClendon.
Yeah, because he had quite a tragic life, didn't he?
Yeah, he died of AIDS in the mid-90s,
Yeah.
and his fellow cast members on this described him as like a young Fred Astaire. He was a great singer, a great dancer, and would have had a great career had it not been cut so short.
Yeah, it's a big shame. It's very sad, but it's nice that he had that kind of tribute in It's a Sin, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you've not seen It's a Sin, like, do yourself a favour.
I-
It's a heavy watch, but
Yeah.
bloody hell, it's good.
I mean, there's that moment where that production manager's saying, there's something wrong with your skin. I do wonder, is that supposed to be Gary Downey?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, that's true.
I think it may have been RCD who said, if you look closely in that Doctor Who scene, you may see someone wearing a Hawaiian shirt walking about. Sophie Aldred, she'd literally get fan mail from kids and fans saying, "Why do you call him the Professor? He's the Doctor."
That doesn't surprise me. God, can you imagine, like, today, Jesus Christ, Doctor Who fans would go mad.
Mm. I mean, with some of the stuff Catherine Tate says about Doctor Who, they'd go mad at her.
Yeah, right.
Like, apparently she, for the Sonsarency party, she genuinely thought they were robots and was freaked out when they took their helmets off and there were people inside.
Oh, wow. Oh, God, people would have... Oh, Christ. And
there's that scene on Nevermind the Buzzcocks where she said, "I thought your last name was Who. I thought you were called Mr. Who and Doctor was your first name." Like, all the reactionaries would have had a
oh,
fit.
God, I had a field day, yeah. Is that the same Buzzcocks episode with Bernard Cribbins as well?
It is, yeah. I think it aired like Christmas 2009, 2008, something like that, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because, of course, that was when the new series was in the height of its popularity, so I imagine that would have been quite a big kind of thing. I guess it would be the equivalent of, I don't know, the Line of Duty cast appearing on a show like that today, yeah.
Oh, there's countermeasures.
Yeah.
It is a shame that for season 25 they couldn't get units in it and the Brigadier back.
Yeah, it is a big shame, actually. Because you almost feel like these are stand-ins, and obviously the timelines wouldn't have quite matched up because of the 1963 and everything, but it's almost... You do kind of feel like these are stand-ins almost for the unit role.
Yeah. I think it's this scene coming up here where she takes off the no coloured sign.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, because they showed it to like the higher ups of the BBC, and I think one of them had to go out to take a phone call, and they were like, "Oh, bugger, he's going to miss it," and they actually rewound the tape, which they're not usually allowed to do. And I think the head of like one of the higher ups said, "You know what? She should have torn up the sign."
Yeah. I mean, because of course, infamously, this was when the show was definitely not political.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Christ, if that happened in a Doctor Who nowadays, especially a Jodie Whittaker one, can you imagine?
Oh, yeah.
Like it would cause a shitstorm on the internet and in the papers and everything. Like it would. Jesus Christ, it would be.
Well, there was that
massive.
clip recently on BBC News that talked about. I can't remember the actress's name, but she was the hostess in Midnight, and she said, okay, before we get into this conversation, can we start defining what woke is?
Yes, that was such a good clip. That was so good. I love that. Because that is the thing. It's like...
If what I'm going to do now, if I get into an argument on social media with someone about, and people are moaning about wokeness, I'm just going to say, can you define what it is, please?
Yeah.
I did give someone a definition. They just said, "You're boring me," or "You're being disingenuous." Like, how?
Yeah,
this is the definition of woke. Alerted to injustice in society. It's the essence of what Doctor Who is about.
Exactly, and it's often like just ask what you mean by something being too woke, because 99% of the time it's people going, "I don't like this minority group." But I don't want to admit it. Yeah, but I don't want to admit it.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So, like, define what you mean by something being too woke. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that scene, the no-coloured scene, it was very close to being cut out, but I think Sylvester McCoy said, no, you can't cut it out because that's the essence of the whole story.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's right.
it's a cool setting as well, like the kind of deserted school and everything. It's
Mm.
always
Yeah, I wonder if this is on a weekend, hence why there's no pupils here.
yeah, right.
Imagine Ian and Barbara come back and they say, oh, the day after you left, we had these horrible metal creatures trying to exterminate everyone. Anything to do with you?
Yeah.
I mean, Sophie Aldred has said, playing Ace on Big Finish is great because I can still play a teenager.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. I'll say this about the music. It's probably the only, this may sound harsh, it's probably the only Kev McCulloch score that I actually like.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, honestly,
You're not a fan?
no, Battlefield sounds like awful video game music. Delta and the Bannerman sounds like the Benny Hill theme. Paradise Towers, I mean, he wasn't meant to do that, but the original score by David Snell, I think, was a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can hear the original score on the Blu-ray, right?
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
There is, yeah. You can hear David Snell's original score because it was at this point in the series that they started using more freelance composers.
Yeah.
But there was only 3 composers for the entire McCoy era: Kev McCulloch, Dominic Glynn, and Mark Aries.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, because here I think it's a bit intrusive, but the music's exciting enough to match the action-packed story.
Yeah,
Whereas I think in other stories it just. Whereas I think in a lot of his other stories that he composes, he just doesn't know when to shut up. Yeah, it's a bit like. I suppose his music's like his version of the Doctor Who theme. Some people love it, some people hate it.
Yeah, it's very kind of love it or hate it.
Mm-hmm.
That's another good cliffhanger. Another good cliffhanger.
It is, yeah. And apparently Sophie Aldred did that on a twisted ankle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know that she doesn't like her expression at the end. I've heard that before.
Yeah, true. Yeah, there's 4 Dalek voices in this.
Yeah, which is quite cool because it does kind of like variation within the Daleks, which is always nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's always funny as well because you read about this era, and it's almost like people almost call it. It's like the Cartmel era, and of course, his voice is very heavy in it. But it's easy to forget that John Nathan Turner was still the producer of the show at this point.
He was, yeah. I think still a lot of the casting decisions, especially in season 24, did come down to JNT.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
On Delta and the Bannerman, it's insane. Like, even Bonnie Langford, she was just perplexed by all the stars they had got, and she was just like, how? Why? What? How did you get in this?
It's literally like a big party, that story.
Hmm. But I have noticed between the Imperials and the Renegades, the Imperials do sound, their voices sound a lot harsher and metallic,
Yeah.
whereas the the Renegades sound a bit more blobby, which is reflective of like the different mutants, because as they say, the Imperials are mutants but with more mechanics added, and the Renegades are more like a typical Dalek mutant.
100%, yeah.
I know they made the destroyed Daleks from this into a figure.
Yeah.
And it with the mutant claw as well. That was pretty cool.
Very cool, yeah.
And I remember series 2, they made a destroyed Cyberman and destroyed Cassandra.
Destroyed
Favourite figure.
Cassandra. Yeah, everyone's favourite one. I thing is, when I first started to see that like on the internet, I thought it was a joke because I never remember seeing it as a kid. Like never, no matter what. And like I was a frequent visitor to supermarkets to buy these Doctor Who figures, and I never once remember seeing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was a joke when I first saw it.
I mean, I do think RCD is going to get more merchandise into his next era of Doctor Who, but I just hope, please don't oversaturate it. I don't want trading cards of the cameraman from Sound of Drums.
yeah. Well, you never know. They've got Disney money now, so who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be like, so Disney, let me introduce you to Marco Polo.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that is the thing, because people like, if like the 60th anniversary and then Series 14 and beyond is a huge rating success for Disney Plus, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that could be viable for them to actually fund these things.
If
they feel like it's a big enough success for their platform and enough people are kind of drawn to Disney Plus because of Doctor Who, it could very well happen. Like, it's definitely a possibility. The only thing with that is you would hope that you would get the same people who work on a lot of the restorations and stuff now, rather than just farm it off to people who don't really know it. That's the only worry with that one, because the restoration team do such good work. You would kind of hope that they get at least consulted on it, but
it's a fun fact about the Emperor Dalek.
oh yeah.
The lights that you see on its hexagon, that is Terry Malloy inside shining a torch.
Oh, I like that.
And if you notice,
DIY.
in part 4, when the hood's about to come up, the light turns off. That's because Terry Malloy's turning the torch off, putting it away, and getting ready to reveal himself as Davros. But yeah, his schedule for this story was very tight.
Yeah, I can imagine.
There was debate whether or not he was able to do it, but
yeah.
And he says he loves playing Davros on audio because he doesn't have to put a mask on.
Oh, I can imagine like the hassle of putting all the makeup and getting in the chair and everything. I imagine it's quite freeing just to do the voice.
Yeah, because when I went to Day at Devil's End, he said, I actually have a BBC strike to thank for getting me to play Davros, because at the end of season 20, when Resurrection of the Daleks was supposed to be made, apparently Michael Wisher was all set to come back as Davros, but when it was cancelled and remounted for season 21, he wasn't available, so it went to Terry Malloy.
Interesting. That's quite cool. I guess they didn't ask David Goodison back, sadly.
Yeah, I do find it a shame they kind of swept him under the rug.
Yeah, well, especially because watching the season 17 box set where they have the audio with the modulated voice, it really adds to his performance, and it really
It does, yeah.
It's so frustrating that they couldn't do that at the time. It's like, why didn't you modulate his voice at the time? Because watching it on that box set, it's really like, holy shit, this is so much better when it's properly modulated.
Yeah. I mean, Dalek Invasion of Earth is getting a enhanced 5.1 soundtrack.
Yeah,
and
look forward to that.
I just hope they've added modulation to the Dalek voices, maybe.
Yeah, because I'm intrigued by... Because it's not a classic kind of 5.1 thing, it's an enhanced thing with it. So I'm intrigued by it. I'm intrigued by that release in general because it is a bit lighter in extras than normal, just because it's a massive season. So I'm intrigued by how it'll turn out. I'm looking forward to it.
I think we do have to kind of accept at this point that not every story is going to get its making of documentary.
Well, I think they're doing the right thing by just doing a season-long making of documentary, especially for the 60s, where, let's face it, those contributors won't be around for much longer, and we don't have a lot left, like people to talk to for every story now. Yeah.
I know season 3 already does have that documentary because it's on the gunfighters.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. It's end of the line, isn't it? It's such a great documentary. Because season 3 is it's one of the most messy seasons in Doctor Who's history. It's so like every story is in constant flux. So yeah,
the year of the 3 producers.
Exactly.
I mean, I've learned a few things about Doctor Who stars this year. I'd say for Colin Baker, don't mention Eric Sayward.
Yep.
For John Levine, don't mention Tom Baker.
Yeah,
and for Peter Purves, don't mention Innes Lloyd.
Yeah, right.
Because he said, because at the Time Meddler BFI screening, I wasn't there, but apparently someone did ask him about Innes Lloyd, and he said, well, it sacked me, and it was a load of bollocks, really.
I heard this, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I asked John Levine about Tom Baker, and he said, well, Tom made me give up acting. Okay.
Yeah, John Levine's relationship with Tom Baker is...
Well, he just seems to be convinced that it was Tom Baker who got rid of Unit when, no, Tom would have had no say in that.
Yeah, this is the thing. I sort of get the sense that that's not really the way it went, and John Levine is just... I don't know. It's like you said, I think his issue was like Tom Baker is such a strong presence and he wasn't open to sharing the screen as much as John was, but I don't know. John Levine is a very interesting character. I don't know if you've heard it came to light, it kind of got brought up again recently on Twitter when he did an in-character unit report as Sergeant Benton of the Salisbury poisonings.
Oh,
I don't know if you heard about this. Like after that poisoning incident happened, because John Levine lives there, or he did at the time anyway. He went out and did a Facebook Live thing as Sergeant Benton, reporting on this like quite big political event. And needless to say, it didn't go down very well. I just find that very funny. Yeah,
and also don't mention Eric Sayward, I'd say, to Colin Baker, because on the Revelation of the Daleks commentary, he says, I think as a writer he was quite good, but I don't really want to breathe the same air as the man.
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, Eric Sayward is such a weird one as well, because he always just... It seemed like he hated working on the show. Like, he hated the stuff that he was writing.
Yeah, because because apparently, Eric asked Colin his advice about, should I still keep working on Doctor Who even though I'm no longer enjoying it as much? And Colin was like, well, it's up to you at the end of the day. And then, of course, Eric pretty much went out, did a whole tell-all, spill the beans interview, which pretty much attacked everyone.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I mean, there's debate that the Sixth Doctor is based on John Nathan Turner. Both wear coloured clothes, both had a high opinion of themselves, and both struggled to take constructive criticism.
Yes, yeah. It's funny, at the moment in my marathon, I'm on season 20, and it's funny that seems to be the point where the wheels start to loosen a bit for the show. Like, that's the point where it just starts getting a bit like, yeah, this isn't holding together very well.
Because I know in the making of For Warriors of the Deep, Ian Levine was being that person and saying, oh, this script, it's got like so many continuity issues, which he showed to John. John was like, I'll take this to Eric. And apparently Eric said, well, this is stupid. Are we making a show for the die-hard fans? We're making a show for the casual audiences. What are we doing here?
Yeah. But to be fair, Doctor Who has had to wrestle with that pretty much since the 80s. It's had to wrestle with that ever since. It's wrestling with that now because that conversation is back up again in the consciousness because of, well, recently with the Power of the Doctor being so like fan servicey, and now with the 60th anniversary on the horizon, and Tennant being the 14th Doctor, and all of this stuff. Doctor Who's always had to wrestle with that, I think. Yeah, like what do you do? And I don't think there is a clear answer to really, like, it's just, yeah.
Yeah, hence with the Carmel master plan here, as he says, we have trouble with the prototype.
Yeah, it's really cool to see it kind of fall into place. And
it is my theory that the Seventh Doctor did know about the Timeless Child, but
yeah,
his regeneration into the Eighth Doctor was so severe that he forgot about it.
Yeah.
Now, this Supreme Dalek, it looks like the one from you see in Daleks Invasion Earth.
I thought the same thing. It reminds me of like the like in 2003 they did like a bunch of talking Daleks, and like radio controlled one. Yeah. It reminds me of a lot of those.
I think they were mostly based on the Cushing movie Daleks.
Yeah, because I've got one in my room currently, and looking at the box, it's got like the diamond logo on it, and it's got like the old branding, but it like the Dalek, like, it looks, it's a red one.
Oh, but yes, but the diamond logo is no longer old now.
No, yeah. In fact, yeah, in front of me right now, I've got the new latest issue of Doctor Who magazine, and it looks so good on the cover. It's such a cool logo.
I'm glad RCD has confirmed that the collection logo is not going to change.
Oh, God. Oh, God, same. Jesus. I mean, that was my first thought, to be honest with you. Yeah. But it's a shame, really, because I think the new diamond logo suits that range a lot better. But it's a shame. It's a shame that it couldn't have started with that logo. But that's this very nitpicky.
Yeah, I do love the reveal that it's a girl plugged into a Dalek battle computer. That's just brilliant.
It's really cool, and it's a really kind of sinister concept as well. It's yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Bring out the what do you call these again? Plasma balls. That's it.
Yeah.
Bring out a plasma ball.
I had one as a kid, and yeah, every time I turned it on, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm like in Remembrance of the Daleks." It's cool. It's one of those things that's like, yeah, go on.
Just gonna say, question: where do they go? Because they literally go out, the Doctor sabotages the time controller, and they come back in.
Holy shit, that's a good point. I've never thought about that. They just pop out for a tea break.
It's a shame the Daleks wobble a bit on location.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's noticeable when they go over like the cobbles later, and they're just going all over the place.
I know the fight scene in part 4. The explosions were so loud that the police genuinely thought it was an IRA attack.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, this is quite a well-known story, isn't it? It's funny.
I think they were absolutely surprised when they found it was 2 Daleks coming out of the smoke.
Yeah.
And yeah, it feels like for the first time, probably since the 70s, that the Daleks have taken centre stage again.
Yes.
Because in a lot of stories, they are playing second fiddle to Davros.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd say the one story where they get the balance between the Daleks and Davros really well is Resurrection of the Daleks, because they both get to do their own thing.
I agree. Very true. They're kind of their own kind of separate parties in that one.
Mm-hmm. I know there's a box set out there that's got all the classic Davros stories in it, and also a few Big Finish stories as well.
Yeah, which is really interesting because they never really tied that in again. Like having Big Finish stuff. I
mean, the Davros stories on Big Finish are really good.
Yeah, I've heard.
On audio, Davros feels like the Sixth Doctor's Moriarty.
Yeah.
Because Curse of Davros is completely insane. Bit of spoilers, but the Sixth Doctor and Davros, they literally swap minds. So Davros' his mind is inside the Doctor's body.
That's interesting. They could do that really well on audio, yeah.
Yeah, they did it quite well, because the Daleks start invading, but then they, and I think to lure the Doctor out, they start killing humans, and the Doctor, obviously it's Davros, but you don't know that yet, quite flippantly says, what's all these lives against all the billions of humans that are going to die if we don't move on?
Yeah.
And you think it's the Sixth Doctor just being a bit flippant, but no, it's Davros.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, the Big Finish story, Davros, does toy with the idea of, can we have a Davros story without the Daleks? And it's something the TV series should definitely try.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Closest we get, I'd say, is Revelation of the Daleks, because the Daleks in that are literally just grunts.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original Remembrance of the Daleks figures, they go for like £700 on eBay.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It sucks as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Series 9 Steelbook. No one's getting that now.
Oh, no. And they've said they're never going to re-release it, which sucks. It really sucks. I might take...
Yeah, because when it came out, like, the Steelbooks weren't really a thing. They were just like for... There are the people who are willing to put down the cash, but now that they've re-released series 1 to 8, everyone seems to get them now.
Yeah. And, at the time, it was just like, it was the first real one that Doctor Who had ever done. We'd had, like, the Cushing movies, but in terms of, like, BBC stuff, it was the first big one that they'd done. It sucks. It really sucks, because, like, now, like, I have all of the new series on Steelbook except for 9, and it's just I'm tempted to do what Matthew Purchase has done on Twitter and make my own one with magnets.
Yeah, do it.
Because you can get them off, like, Etsy. People are, like, selling, like, the spines and the artwork on magnets, so I'm tempted to just, like, find a random Steelbook on eBay or something, a cheap one, and just customize it. But
not a good idea.
But I'd absolutely buy it if they re-released it.
No, because the ones I'm missing are the 2009 specials, Series 9 and Series 11. I did get a Series 12 copy for a pretty reasonable price.
Yeah.
Recently.
Yeah. The specials one was interesting because that was the first time they'd done, like, exclusive content for it, because you had the animated specials on Blu-ray. Like, you had Dreamland and Infinite Quest on Blu-ray as well, which has never happened before, which is pretty cool. But I'm just waiting for them to get to the new series and the collection sets, which I think they have said they would like to do when the classic series is finished.
Yeah, now when Ben Aranovich wrote the whole the Dalek shuttlecraft lands in the courtyard, he expected it to be like a CSO blue screen effect. He got to the location and found, hey, what's that big crane doing here?
Yeah.
That is incredible. The fact that it's real.
Yeah, definitely. It's very cool. It's impressive that they managed to pull it off.
Lands. And it lands and it breaks and shatters glass. You just feel like...
Yeah, you feel the weight of it. It feels like a proper aircraft landing.
Yep.
And we have a bit of a fourth wall break.
Yep. Even the sonic screwdriver won't get me out of this one.
Yeah. Well, we didn't talk about earlier. What are your thoughts on the whole the TV thing?
Oh, the
Doc. Yeah.
It's a bit. Bit too for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, It's a harmless joke, I guess.
I feel like they could have cut earlier, and it would have been like, oh, I see what you're doing. I think actually hearing Dot is a bit too much. But...
Then again, I think in the first episode of Torchwood, Glenn drives by the Doctor Who experience.
Yeah, the first time I ever watched Torchwood, I noticed that. And I was like, holy shit, that's the Red Dragon exhibition. Complete with the logo. Like, it's there. The surfboard logo is fully, like, it's obvious. It's so funny.
But, yeah, when did the Doctor experience open? Was it 2011?
So the experience opened in London in 2011, and then in 2012 it moved to Cardiff, where it stayed for the rest of its life. I did go to the London one and the Cardiff one, and it was definitely more suited to Cardiff. It just felt more at home there. But yeah,
I only went to the Cardiff one, and that was 10 years ago.
Oh, I really miss it. I really miss it. I went back to Cardiff Bay recently, and it's lovely. That I love it. It's one of my favourite places on earth. But it really is like, it's so sad that place isn't there anymore, because where the experience was is now essentially just this big, like, lump of concrete. Like, it's just barren, and it sucks. It's really sad.
she can't just walk around the table. She's got to leap over them. That's perfect.
Yeah. It's very in character.
And I did like, and yeah, it's a great story for Ace because also of her relationship with Mike as well. She even liked him a bit and he wants to date him, but then
yeah,
turns out he's a white supremacist. Yeah, those John Leeson Dalek voices aren't great.
yeah, they're yeah. Stick to
We're
K9.
most captured the end of Omega. Let's go there, bub.
And I love this as well. It's such a like going into the baddies' base almost. It's cool.
Yeah, and the lines that Mike says here, you've got to look out for your own people just so that everyone else can have just so you can have a fair chance. You could imagine a Dalek saying that.
Yeah.
Or Davros. And the whole the no coloured sign it is pretty much foreshadowed, isn't it? Because that's his mum's house, isn't it?
Yeah.
So his mum's a white supremacist?
Essentially, yes.
Or maybe had similar views, maybe, yeah.
I wonder if Ace's sexuality had been kind of because obviously, like you say, she likes him here, but like I'm not. Later on, obviously, survival is very heavily on like it's very heavy. Like this is a lesbian still allegory. In fact,
I assume she was bisexual.
I assume that too. Yeah, because there is that bit in Power of the Doctor as well. She kind of has a bit of a flirty little moment with Graham. Very subtle, but yeah.
Roy Tremblay playing the Emperor Dalek.
Yeah.
I mean that the Emperor Dalek is based on the I think the Emperor Dalek from the 60s. It kind of looks like a roll-on aerosol.
Yeah, it does actually. It does, yeah.
The Special Weapons Dalek, everyone's favourite. That's brilliant. The Special Weapons Dalek.
It's so good. It's so badass. I like that it's weathered. Like this thing's been through some shit because it's really dirty and messy, and I love it.
I think in The Witch's Familiar you can see it speak, like the lights on it flash.
Yeah. Bit of umbrella stunt work there. I love that. The LED Christmas lights in the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like that he imitates the Dalek as well.
Exactly. one thing I like is that on this Dalek shuttle, the circles where their plungers are supposed to go have those little slits in them, because they've got them as well. That's a nice bit of detail.
I like it. I really like it because it kind of... Because obviously the criticism of the Daleks, oh, sink plunger and egg whisker. But it's a cool way of giving it a little bit more... Like, it looks a bit more scientific. Yeah,
I know the production designer from 2005 to 2010, Edward Thomas, said, I was very keen when I got the Daleks was to give them a claw like they had in the Cushing movies.
Yes.
And in a series 4 finale, you can see those Crucible Daleks with the metal claw.
Yes, yeah. It's always cool. I like the claw thing.
To be honest, it does look a bit more convenient than a sink plunger.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you can see the Daleks are just wobbling about on that floor. It's very funny. But yeah, it's funny, like you mentioned the Series 4 finale as well. There's that really obvious shot where that one Dalek's eye stalk light isn't working. And it's like... It's a long shot, and I'm surprised that made it into the programme.
Yeah.
Because it's not a quick moment. It like holds on him, and then suddenly, oh shit, okay, we're on.
Also, watch Doomsday. There's literally the same clip cycled over and over again of Dalek sex talking.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's like Michael Bay's.
Yeah. Reminds me of in Legend of the Sea Devils. The amount of times they play that one shot of the lead Sea Devil walking up to the camera, but in reverse, flipped, sorry. So it looks slightly different. Yeah. It's just like, oh my god. See, you can give Doctor Who all the budget you want, but it's still gonna have that cheap and cheerful aspect, which I hope remains with Disney.
There's that rumour that every episode is going to be £10 million.
I heard this. Yeah, well, if they've got Disney money, and
apparently they have started filming for Series 14. Ncuti Gatwa is now officially playing the Doctor now.
Yeah, I've heard this. Yeah, because they said it would be around this time.
Yeah, end of September, RTD put a picture of himself, Phil Collinson, and Ncuti all together, and I think that was the test screening probably for the companion.
Yeah, it's now been confirmed. Yeah, it was, because it was the same date, and it's been confirmed that so. Which is cool. It's really exciting. It's really, really exciting. And by the time this commentary goes out, we might have
know more about it.
We might have a shot of him in costume, because if they're going to be filming outside, it can't be that far off.
I mean, that'd be great for the 23rd of November, maybe.
Oh, it'd be fantastic.
For the past 2 years, they have tended to announce things for November 23rd, like the 50th anniversary steelbook, the season 8. Collection box set. We could get another announcement on the 23rd of November for the next collection box set, and maybe Ncuti's costume, whatever it's going to be.
I reckon we'll get a costume. I could be wrong, but I reckon we'll get a costume reveal, because if they're going to be filming out in public places, I think we'll get that, and I'm very excited, very, very excited.
I mean, I start rehearsals that day on the 23rd of November.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I love how she calls them books. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's great.
I remember at LSDC this year, there was an 80s panel, and Janet Fielding was like filming the crowd on her phone, and Sophie just started running in front of it.
Oh, nice.
It was so funny.
Well, did you see there was before we knew that obviously the old Doctors were going to be in power, there was a video that went kind of viral of a fan asking Sylvester McCoy about it, but not asking. It was kind of one of those things where he was like, "Oh yeah, so you've worked in TV recently. How does it compare?" And like Sylv kind of let slip something. And the guy went, was that a hint for Doctor Who? And Sylv panics. You can see it in his face.
Oh.
And he sort of starts going. He sort of like puts his finger to his lips and goes shh. So it kind of sent everyone being like, ah, okay. This is quite funny.
I think there's a deleted scene of Mike walking past the dead Daleks with a time controller that gets cut short, and apparently they cut it because the Daleks didn't look dead enough.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Like, yeah, because the props were literally just dead. They weren't like destroyed or anything. They were just static. And it genuinely looks like he's walking past all those Daleks that are still alive. She does look a lot like Barbara.
I always thought this. Yeah, I always thought this.
Yeah, that effect's a bit dodgy.
Yeah, that doesn't look too great. It's okay though. Like in general, the effects have really held up over time in this. It's really well done.
I mean, the shot of the shuttle entering the mothership, yeah, that bit there, that is great.
Yeah, oh, that's really good.
Really shows the power of the Daleks.
What are we? Some kind of remembrance of the Daleks?
Yeah. Ugh.
Oh no, I'm being defeated by the power of the Doctor.
Oh, yeah. President of the High Council of Time Lords,
Yeah.
but at the end of Trial of a Time Lord, you suggested the Inquisitor become president.
Well, I guess he's just sort of being like, well, yeah, I was president. I'm going to use that title to just intimidate.
Yeah. Oh, there he goes. There's the torch.
There's the
coming
torch
off.
going off.
You can't unsee that now.
No, yeah.
And yeah, he says you've discarded the last vestige of your human form. This is something the audio drama Terra Firma touches on.
Yeah.
Where Davos is slowly turning into a Dalek, and it's great. Yeah, I met Joe Lidster, who wrote that story, and
Nice.
yeah, he gave me an interesting fact about the Sarah Jane adventures. He said, we had such a short budget that on some stories that you wrote, you were either given the choice to either show Geeta or Haresh, which are Rani's parents.
Oh,
If
really?
if you have a story that shows both of them, it means your episode has a slightly higher budget.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's funny. That's quite cool.
I suppose if you watch the Sarah Jane adventures and only Geeta or Haresh is in them, you probably think, oh, this has the lower budget.
This was a budget one.
Like, for example, Mark of the Berserker, which is one Joe Lidster wrote, it only Haresh is in it.
Yeah. Interesting. Never knew that. Joe Lister follows me on Instagram, I think, and it always freaks me out because like sometimes he'll like my story and I'll be like, "Oh shit, the Joe Lidster." Yeah.
Well, Wendy Padbury, as of today, follows me on Twitter.
Yes, I saw that. It's very cool. Very cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Because I saw she hit the limit for how many people she could follow back in a day.
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember at Devil's End, someone did ask Terry Malloy, does Davros like unlimited rice pudding?
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. Yeah, I got Terry Malloy to sign my book of Revelation of the Daleks. Really nice.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I got him to just sign an image, but he had these original scripts for, I think it was Remembrance. I think he had a few there, and I think Remembrance was one of them, and they were on the table, and he was just kind of like anyone who would come up to him, he'd just flick through and just show them little bits and pieces from the script pages, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, demonstrate the power of the
There you
Daleks.
go. There you go. He said it.
I do wonder, did the Doctor, when he destroyed Skaro, did he wipe out the Thals as well?
Maybe, that's true.
Then again, by destiny of the Daleks, the Thals seem to be not on Skaro anymore.
That's
It's
true.
established in Planet of the Daleks that they have space travel now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, this whole thing's funny because it's like, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but this is quite a big moment for the show because this arguably kickstarts the events that would lead to the Time War. But then, of course, the new series kind of forgets about that, and Skaro is just back in a lot of it. And of course, the movie as well.
It was on the planet of Skaro, my old enemy, the Master, was being executed.
Yeah, you'd have a hard job. It's not there anymore. But yeah, it's funny. This is quite a big moment, but it kind of gets forgotten about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And like you say, Asylum of the Daleks, when there's just that giant Dalek statue, and it's like, really?
You killed her. No, they didn't. I love how you can see a little dot come out of the mothership.
Yeah, I like that. Well, it's a rare bit of film material for this era, isn't it?
Yep. It's funny on Behind the Sofa for Revelation of the Daleks, when the Sixth Doctor says to Davros, I shall be waiting for you. Sylvester McCoy says, no you won't, Colin, that'll be me. Then in the Two Doctors, when the Sixth Doctor collapses, Sylvester says, no, Colin, don't change yet, I'm not ready. Oh, Darth Sidious.
I was going to say, it's the Emperor.
Yeah. And I think there was a line cut here where Gilmore says, I've got explosives ready, but the Doctor says, no, there's something like, no need, I'll do this myself. And
yeah,
I do like it. How instead of just blowing the Daleks up, he literally talks it to death.
Yeah, it's really powerful.
It's one of the few times you see a Dalek self-destruct because it feels it has no purpose anymore.
Yeah.
And then the next Dalek story, that's how the Dalek is defeated. Your feeble skills are no match for the power of the Dalek.
I love it. It's quite a bittersweet end for the story as well, like the very final scene.
Yeah, even Ace questioned, did we do good?
Yeah.
Time will tell.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, like, did we do good? Well, maybe, but you also inadvertently started the Time War, or at least the events that would lead to it. So,
Exactly.
you know, mixed bag.
Yeah, this scene here where she starts crying actually reminds me of the ending of The Exorcist, where Reagan's freed of the devil and just starts crying. It's
Yeah,
kind of like
I agree.
that.
Actually, yeah, I agree. It's quite dark as well. Like, just that shot of him on the floor.
Mhm.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Very, very good. This is really the first indicator of the Seventh Doctor being like, oh yeah, this guy, he's more than the
He's no longer
clown. Yeah,
he's no longer a clown. Yeah. And the fact that they stick around for the funeral, sort of, as well.
yeah, yeah. I mean, for all the big explosions, the big kind of fun action set pieces in this, it does end on a very somber note, and it's
Mm.
yeah, it's such a good start to the season as well. Like, this is end of the first story of the season. It's like, yeah, this is
Yeah, this is how you open a season. It's just utterly perfect.
it's a season opener that simultaneously feels like a suitable opener and a great finale.
Oh yeah.
It's brilliant. It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause imagine if this was the last ever Doctor Who story made. It would have been quite a fitting ending as well, because you go back to 63, it's the Daleks, and also the Doctor destroys Skara. It does feel
Yeah.
like a very final story.
I agree. I do agree. Actually, it's yeah, it's so good. It's definitely in my top 10 of all time. It's such a good
Yeah,
story. It's so good. Yeah.
yeah, brilliant story. Just and if Doctor Who fans haven't checked it out already, just do it.
Oh my god, yeah, 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 absolutely. It's and I'll reiterate what I said at the start. If you've never seen the classic series, I mean, first of all, I don't know why you've made it all the way through this commentary, but if if you've never seen the classic series, this is a fantastic starting point, because it's so accessible, I think, but it's fantastic. It's fast paced, it's energetic, it's got a lot on its mind. It's just a great story.
Mm,
So
it is, yeah.
So, everybody, that was the end of the commentary for the Remembrance of the Daleks. This is me and Isaac's last commentary again for a little bit, but I really hope you've enjoyed our little brief return for these commentaries. If you've not checked out all of our previous audio commentaries on various films and franchises, and we do all kinds of things, go to the playlist on my channel. You can find about 60, 70 commentaries on there. There's loads of the buggers, so many hours of listening enjoyment there. Isaac, where can people find you?
Definitely. I'm on Twitter. I mean, if Twitter hasn't imploded from what's going on now.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And we've all been kicked off it. Twitter, Instagram, you can find me on as well. And also, I do have a YouTube channel. It's just my name. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
Excellent stuff. So everyone, I really hope you enjoyed the commentary. We'll see you soon.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye.